Russian tank going on the attack. But this happens. Now he's an easy target. It turns out, the Ukrainian tank has been waiting for the perfect opportunity all along. There it is. The Ukrainians leave the enemy not a single chance. The Russian tank has been destroyed. But the Russians are trying to get revenge. ATGM missile hits the ground. It's clearly visible in slow motion. Mission accomplished. Time to retreat. Another missile is fired at the Ukrainians. It misses again. It hits a tree. This is how it flies in slow motion. The Russians miss a third time. Ukrainian tank retreats. And here's the pattern of shots fired at the AFU tank. Now take a look at the perfect ambush. Two Ukrainian tanks covered by a forest belt, waiting for a convenient moment to attack the enemy. Here they are. Behind the trees, 3 Russian tanks are advancing. They don't realize what is happening. First strike. The second one. Third shot, and the enemy tank bursts into flames. Only one of them survived and ran away from the battlefield. And here an AFU tank met the column all alone. He meets the enemy with a powerful shot. With the first hit, it eliminates a daring Russian APC. But the Russians move on. The Ukrainians eliminate another APC. The third shot deprives the Russians of the desire to attack further. The assault has failed. Will this armored group be able to complete their attack? I'm not sure. A Ukrainian tank is already facing them. Each shot is precise and reaches the target. When the task is completed, the Ukrainian tank releases smoke screens and retreats. The Russian tanks explode. And now, see what the hits look like from a different angle. The attack is over, but that's not the end. The Russians sent their tank to attack the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces. The Ukrainians noticed this and decided to respond. When the Ukrainian Leopard arrives at the positions, it attacks the enemy. A precise shot. The damaged Russian tank tries to escape, and unfortunately for the Ukrainians, they have succeeded. And this is a most unexpected encounter. There are only 20 meters between these tanks. The Ukrainian tank fires a shot and hits the enemy. With this shot, he destroys the Russian tank. This is what it looks like from a different angle. This is the Russian tank. The Ukrainians are firing a final shot. Task accomplished, they are safe to retreat. There's a surprise ahead for these Russian tanks. That's a Ukrainian tank. The Russians are getting closer and closer. The Ukrainian tank is attacking. There's a hit. Enemy tanks are engulfed in flames. Another duel. Ukrainian tank rides towards the enemy. That's a Russian tank. After the first hit, the tank bursts into flames. Ukrainians attack again. The camera zooms in, and we see that the target is on fire. And a final shot. Now I want to show you a legendary moment, but it won't be the only one. This is the Ukrainian Leopard. He went out all alone on a mission to clear this forest belt. The drone transmits information where the enemy is, and the Leopard instantly destroys the targets. Then, he drives in closer and shoots up the positions. As Leopard retreats, he spots several armored targets. Here's the first target. One shot and the APC is significantly damaged. We can see the destruction from different angles. And here's the second target. They're trying to escape. A shot in the rear and the fire will do the rest. The next day, the Russians arrived in a large column. They have no idea this Leopard is this crazy. One by one, the APCs explode under Ukrainian tank shelling. They had no chance. That's how the Russian column lost the battle to just one Ukrainian tank. Here's another legendary moment. A huge column of Russian armored vehicles is attacking. There are tanks and APCs. There are at least a dozen of them. Ukrainian artillery is trying to stop the column, but they are advancing further. Ukrainian tankers advance on this dangerous task. The tank is taking up position. Pay attention to how smartly the Ukrainian armed forces are operating. The tank takes cover behind this building, and at the same time, controls the sector. First shot misses. Reload and fire again. It's an excellent shot. The column ignores the tank. The damaged APC is engulfed in flames. Russians still don't understand where they're being fired from? This APC is ignoring the threat and firing in an unknown direction. As soon as it moves out under the tank's line of fire, it notices the AFU tank and opens fire. The tank responds with a shot. It's a miss, but finally, he manages to hit one of the Russian tanks. Under shelling, the Russian column keeps driving on. Some of the armored vehicles are destroyed. Put your thumb up if you think the actions of Ukrainian tank crew are heroic. And these are some of my favorite moments. This is a Ukrainian tank. It was sent to repel a Russian attack. And this is a Russian tank. It spots the enemy in advance and attacks them. It misses. Ukrainians must do something about it immediately. Second shot. There's something wrong with the Russians' marksmanship, but it's getting scarier anyway. The Ukrainian tank responds. In this footage, you can even see a Ukrainian shell hitting a Russian tank. The enemy is destroyed. The AFU tank goes to set up a trap. For unknown reasons, the Russians ignore the threat. The turret is turned the other way. Maybe something distracted them. The Ukrainians close in on the tank. The hit is enough to destroy the enemy tank. After such a shot, the tank loses control and suddenly ignites. Look at it again. Nice work. And here's a similar moment. This is what happens when the enemy captures your armored vehicles. In this video, Ukrainians on a captured Russian tank meet a Russian APC. They let it drive up as close as possible. One hit is enough to immobilize the armored personnel carrier. After that, the Ukrainians finish off the Russian junk. The Russian APC made a deadly mistake. It stopped. The Ukrainian tank takes advantage of this misstep. With a perfect strike, the Ukrainian tank destroys it. The camera fades out and we see an AFU tank. Mission accomplished. Now they can safely retreat. And I won't let you forget about this ambush. Those Russian paratroopers quickly realized they were in trouble. The Ukrainian Bradley took them in his sights and launched a missile. But he missed. The APC is rushing to the settlement to land the Marines as soon as possible. If they succeed, the Russians will have a chance to gain a foothold. The soldiers quickly dismount from the armored vehicles. The APC turns around and leaves. FPV drone is in pursuit. After the first hit, the APC stops. The second drone takes it out. That's all that's left of the armored personnel carrier. Bradley reacts and arrives at the settlement to dislodge the enemy. Bradley starts firing his automatic cannon. The Russian plan fails.